Gary, wonderful to have you here. I appreciate you taking some time to be part of our Grounded Toward Growth interview series.
It's great to be here, and happy 2024.
Happy 2024. Thank you. Thank you. So, Gary Stockman is both a Vistage trusted advisor and a chief marketing officer with Chief Outsiders. And I'd like to talk about both Chief Outsiders and his work there, as well as his experience with Vistage and being part of the Trusted Advisors group. I wanted to give a little context, Gary. So the Trusted Advisors is a group that meets for half a day a month, and they are professional service executives who come together. It's a non-competing group, but we come together to, very similar to our CEOs, wrestle through issues and opportunities that people have through a very simple issue processing methodology. And so it's been I think, a fun group, certainly for me to get to know. And you guys have been an enormous value and resource to my CEOs. And so that I am eternally grateful for.
Well, I'm glad it works out. I mean, it's a terrific group, and as you say, happy that we can be of some assistance.
Yeah.
To your CEs, but also, and I guess maybe we'll talk about this later. Those of us who are members of the Trusted Advisor group get a lot out of that peer group as well for ourselves and our businesses.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's good to hear. So can you tell us a bit, Gary, about yourself, your background, what led you to Chief Outsiders, and the
Sure.
services that, what services is it that you offer there?
Yep, that's great. And let me start with the sort of what is Chief Outsiders, right? So Chief Outsiders is a firm comprised of fractional executives who are dedicated to helping our clients grow. And those executives either fall on the marketing side, which is my background, or on the sales side. And I have a number of colleagues who are chief sales officers as well. And the reason we recently added the sales component is because we find that they're so inextricably linked, sales and marketing, that addressing both often is something that's required for our clients. But Chief Outsiders is an organization founded actually back in 2009 as a fractional chief marketing officer organization. And, if you think about it, back in 2009, you had to sort of explain to people what a fractional executive was. There were some, I think, fractional CFOs, from a finance standpoint, but that was about as far as it went. The founders of the company had the idea that particularly small to mid-sized firms would benefit from the experience of people who served at larger organizations, sophisticated marketing operations, and that it would be appropriate to have their expertise available on a fractional basis. And that led to the founding of Chief Outsiders. We're now, I think, 130 plus executives. We're around the country. We've served almost 1,900 clients at this point, including a couple hundred that come out of private equity. So the concept has been very well received and has grown exponentially, and frankly, so has Chief Outsiders. Oh, nice. So my background, unlike a lot of my colleagues who came up strictly on the corporate side, I come from an agency background. I was, let's just call it 20 plus years on the agency side, with time spent out in Silicon Valley, in New York, and what I really enjoyed about that was the variety of agency life, the ability to work with multiple clients and to help them with the challenges that they were facing. I did move on to a corporate role as a chief marketing and communications officer here in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area for about 7 years. And from there, I came and joined Chief Outsiders. And what's sort of ideal about this for me is it combines the best of both worlds. It combines what I was able to do on the corporate side to have meaningful impact, to make things happen for the organization and to drive the business, but also the variety that I really enjoyed about agency life. So it's been a great fit for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. So let me just reflect a bit on what I see with your interaction with my CEO. So I've got 30 CEOs in these two chief executive groups, and we talk a lot about growth. We talk about business growth, which leads to organizational growth, which also includes personal growth as CEO. And what's fascinating for me to see is that as you go from 3 million to 15 to 30 to 100 million and beyond, the needs of the organization change dramatically. And there's a point at which they might be able to bring on a full-time marketing director, something or position like that. But in those early years, there's oftentimes no marketing, or even usually there's sales, but not at a strategic level. So the strategic insights, the having been there, done that, does not exist.
Mhm.
And so being able to refer people to you, even if they're small, $3 to $5 million revenue company, has been incredibly important for those CEOs, just to understand what is marketing, what is sales, what is the link to the business strategy, what do I need to be thinking about as an organization. So as a fractional resource, I that you grow and evolve as our businesses and CEOs grow and evolve. And I was just wondering if you could share more about what it's like on your end as you see these CEOs evolve and grow.
It's a great question. The through line for us in the work that we do is growth. Almost always, it's a growth challenge that comes from either a shift in the market, market forces, market opportunities. It's getting from this level to the next level and scaling a business. Very often, there's that old adage: "What got you here won't get you there," and I think it does apply. And I've worked with a number of companies that were very successful at getting to a point. That point could be 3 million, 5 million, could even be 50 million. But the basis on which the company was built from a marketing and probably from a sales standpoint didn't allow it to scale. A lot of the growth came from the personal networks of the founders, or there was such a market tailwind that basically they just needed to be present and the business came to them. Well, that doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
And so the question then becomes, how do you build a scalable go-to-market approach that can take what you've done really well, and gotten you as successful as you've become, and will help get to that next level. And that's a lot of what we do is to solve growth challenges by taking that strategic view and then working through to execution to deliver business outcomes.
Absolutely. So could you describe, what does a engagement typically look like, if there is such a thing? But how do you approach a CEO who is saying, I think I need to consider this?
Well, the first thing we do is to have a detailed conversation about the state of their business. What's working, what's not, what's the growth potential, and in particular, what's the unrealized growth potential, and how do we get our arms around that? And is there an opportunity to put a more concerted marketing effort in place that will help achieve that potential, that unrealized potential? And those discovery conversations are generally very useful, not only for us as prospective providers of services, but also as a clarifying conversation for our CEOs or our prospective CEOs. Just being asked the question, just being able to take that step back and consider, here's where I want to go. How can I get there? What are my potential paths? What gaps do I need to close? What opportunities can I seize on? That discovery is among the more fun parts of what we do, because you're really starting to explore, the potential of a business to go from one level to the next.
And as you identify those needs, what is it you do to then look inside Chief Outsiders to determine who the right fit would be for that client?
Well, then the question becomes, what's the nature of the engagement? In some cases, in many cases actually, we become essentially an acting CMO, an acting chief marketing officer within the organization. So on a fractional basis, we'll run the day to day. In the meantime, even while we're building perhaps a more strategic plan to move forward, those fractional engagements often entail the articulation of a go-to-market plan, assessing current resources, staffing, agency, to see whether they're meeting the not only the needs of the organization today, but where the organization wants to go. Understanding, again, what those other opportunities are, and in a lot of cases, formalizing an understanding of the target customer. What we find is a lot of companies in the early phase kind of know instinctively who their ideal customer is.
Right.
When it comes time to scale a go-to-market approach, it requires a little bit more formal articulation of who your prospects are and how best to go after them. So in some cases, we're a fractional CMO. In other cases, it's a defined project. I need someone to help me set this up, right? I need somebody to address this adjacent market opportunity that none of my current staff have had an opportunity to look at, but I need somebody with some expertise to very quickly make that assessment and develop a strategic recommendation.
I know some of our folks, we have quite a few folks who are GovCon, and and there's a point at which they say, maybe we need to pursue the commercial market as well, and that would be, it's a new ball game.
Very different. Yeah.
Very different approach. So I ask you to put your crystal ball on a bit. So, the changes that are happening are so rapid. I think change is exponential. And now we're looking at AI. Then we have, on the downsides, we have cybersecurity issues, right? So we've got this protective thing going on that we all need to worry about. We've got these incredible opportunities for AI that we're probably just beginning to explore. What are the implications when you look out 2024, 2025, again, from a marketing and sales perspective? What do you see as some of the biggest opportunities and challenges coming down the pike?
I think AI is a tremendous opportunity. There's no question about it. And we've, at Chief Outsiders, we've spent a lot of time developing expertise, particularly as obviously AI applies to marketing and sales. And I think it's still early days, but there are the opportunities to apply AI, even as it exists today, are quite significant. Whether it's something as simple as brainstorming or giving getting a market snapshot or a prospect snapshot very quickly, whether it's testing various theories, aggregating information. Right now, AI, to me at least, represents a very robust toolbox. It still needs the person who knows how to use the tools. I don't think we're at a point now where you can simply tell an agent what you need and have it delivered in fully finished and so on. So the good news is there's still a human role here, obviously a significant one. Yeah. But the power that AI can put in the hands of people to either accomplish more or accomplish faster is really very exciting. And we're spending a lot of time exploring, how that applies, and frankly, using those tools that I talked about on a day-to-day basis. I think we're going to continue to be challenged from a marketing perspective at reaching people and doing it effectively. Digital tools, and I've spent a lot of time. My digital experience goes back to learning Unix to be able to communicate on what was the early World Wide Web. So I've seen the entire arc from then to now. The ability to reach people is sort of unprecedented. The ability to reach the right people in the right way becomes more complicated every day.
Yeah. No. Well, it is. The brave new world is here.
It is. It's exciting, though.
Yeah. No, it is exciting. Great opportunity. Let me shift gears a bit. Chief Outsiders is a national sponsor of Vistage, and so we've got quite a relationship built between the two organizations, and that's a bit how we were introduced. And so I'm thrilled to have you a part of this trusted advisor group. As you thought about at the time, and you think about your time with Vistage, what are some of the key reasons for joining this trusted advisor group, and what is some of the value that you've realized being part of the group?
So the concept of the trusted advisor, I think, is an interesting one. And in a previous life, I had an opportunity, and I've mentioned this to you before, to do a seminar with David Maister, who is sort of widely regarded as the person who coined the term trusted advisor. And I remember he defined, he wrote a whole book. So there's a book that defines what a trusted advisor is, but there's also just a phrase which has stuck with me since I heard him say it, which is a trusted advisor is someone that a client turns to when they're not even sure they can help. And I think that really, for me, sort of encapsulates what the trusted advisor concept is. And what I've enjoyed about my time with Vistage, Rick, is when you've connected me with a chief executive who is trying to figure things out, is trying to answer usually a growth question, right? How do I get from here to there? And what are some things I ought to be thinking about? Not every one of those conversations has turned into business for chief outsiders. That's fine.
Right. Sure.
We're good with that. But all of them, I think, have been very useful, certainly for me, I hope for them, in helping to understand the art of the possible and some of the things they might want to be thinking about. And that, in essence, I think, is what a trusted advisor does.
Well, I that definition is very real to me, and I think what really makes our group so valuable to me and my members, my CEO members, is that I can do just that. I can pick up the phone or send an email and just say, "Hey, Gary, I'd love for you to connect with so and so. They have a question about X, Y, or Z, and I don't know if it will help, but I know you're going to bring so much more expertise than I could ever dream to have." And that goes for, our personal wealth management folks, our commercial insurance and risk people, our HR people, our investment banking folks. So it's really it's a great team. And it's also been fun to see how multiple members of our trusted advisor group are sometimes working with the same client. And so it almost becomes a synergistic offering, and it's enormously helpful because you're kind of looking at that elephant from your respective perspective, and the whole is quite exciting. So
it really is, and I give credit to you for the group you've assembled, because they're all great people, and I look forward to getting together with them each month. And it's been surprising, I think. In our last meeting, we had a couple of guests, and one of the guests commented that they got more out of our session, and what people were willing to share than they had something else that required a much more significant investment of their time.
Yeah.
And that's the way I always feel. Is an opportunity to either contribute to challenges that somebody in a group is having, or to have my own challenges interrogated in a way that goes well beyond what I could have done on my own.
And what I have found so exciting about our issue processing, it's not just solving problems. It's way beyond that. There's a depth to our conversations that are really exciting. I mean, there's new thinking that emerges. There's connections that people are making. Oh my gosh, just hadn't thought of it that way. And I think part of that is the diversity of expertise and thought and opinion in the room. So it really has been a lot of fun.
No, I think that's absolutely right, and hopefully we do provide value, to the chief executives in your group, but we also provide value to one another. So it's really kind of a win-win-win.
Good, great. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your all the work you do and the contributions to our members, and I will see you tomorrow at our meeting.
Absolutely, wouldn't miss it. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.